Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean, and I'm going to talk today about the Furious One, Tyson Fury. He had an altercation a couple of days ago with Manuel Charr. Some people saying it's fake, it's set up. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. The point is, he's now being touted as a possible opponent for Fury, which, in my opinion, is pretty decent. Now, first and foremost, I'm just happy to hear that Tyson Fury is going to come back if he comes back, because obviously we don't really know where we stand with Tyson. Um, he's quite unpredictable, not really sure what's going on behind the scenes, so it's difficult to really take anything that he says with regards to his comeback as gospel. You know what I mean? We don't really know, first of all, if he's serious about it, and secondly, what hurdles are going to be placed in the way, what complications are going to be placed in his way to prevent that from happening. So let's just assume, for the sake of this video, that everything's going to go smoothly and he is going to come back. I think that Manuel Charr is actually a pretty decent opponent to come back to. I mean, he fought in his last fight against, obviously, the number one heavyweight in the world. He's not going to do that, of course. I mean, he's well out of shape. He's been out of the ring for a long time. I mean, he's nowhere near his fighting weight. I mean, he's nowhere near his sparring weight, to be honest. He looks like he's got a very, very long way to go. So you'd think even if he does fight Manuel Charr, he's not going to come back in tip-top condition. I mean, you'd hope that he got into better condition than he is at the moment, but he is a lot. He's looking very big. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on there. I don't know if he's just been like ridiculously like overeating and stuff like that. I mean, he's been on manic antidepressants, I believe, and quite often the side effects of them, they can kind of fatten you up a bit as well. So possibly that has something to do with it. I don't know, but I think it's fair to say that he's definitely not exactly living the life of a fighter, which has obviously been a criticism of him in the past in general. But it definitely looks like now that's what's going on. In terms of this fight, Manuel Charr, he's got a bit of experience. He's been in there with Vitaly Klitschko, I think Povetkin as well, a few other people. He hasn't beaten anyone particularly good, but he comes to fight. He's pretty tough. He's got a good pair of bollocks on him. So for me, this would be quite a good comeback fight, because it's not just going to be someone who goes in there who's just gets intimidated, gets blasted out too early, turns up just for a paycheck, and he's going to be there trying to win. I don't think he's going to. I think he's all right, Manuel Charr. I mean, he's not a world beater. He's not one of the best in the world, but he's half decent. I mean, he's decent. He's a pretty good fighter. At least he used to be. I don't know what he's really like these days, but yeah, I think that's the kind of fight that Fury needs. In terms of how easy the fight would be for him, well, that depends on what shape he's in, both physically and mentally. Because Tyson Fury has, in the past, let his emotions get the better of him. I mean, sometimes he gets a bit. We've seen him knocked down a couple of times. Now, he's not someone who has like a weak chin or someone like that, but he does let his guard down sometimes, and he gets a bit overzealous. I mean, a good example, Steve Cunningham. Now, he was in. People make a lot about it. Steve Cunningham obviously was a cruiserweight coming up, wasn't a massive puncher, so people look at that and they use that as an indication that Tyson Fury can't take a punch. I mean, he's been in there with much bigger punches than Steve Cunningham, and he's never gone down. So, to me, that says a lot more about his, lapses in concentration or his kind of attitude sometimes to fighting. Against Steve Cunningham, he was in America. Obviously, Peter Fury couldn't get into the country because of his criminal record, so he was younger. Obviously, back then didn't have the experience. First in Madison Square Gardens, obviously Madison Square Gardens, legendary boxing venue. He kind of let the occasion get to him. Didn't really respect Steve Cunningham's punching power. Just walked straight into a peach of a right hand. Got put on his ass. I've also seen him against. A few times. I remember the last time he fought when he was really out of shape, Christian Hammer, because he was supposed to fight David Haye, pulled out twice, went a bit mental as well, like kind of, A bit like this time, not as bad because it wasn't as high profile, but he said he retired from boxing. He was like going out drinking, really stopped training, kind of fell out of love with the sport, had enough of it all, and then came in like grossly overweight and fighting against Christian Hammer. Christian Hammer is a good fighter, he's a decent fighter, but he's not a world level fighter. And Tyson Fury knocked him out, but he got a bit reckless and that as well, got a bit carried away, wasn't really as alert mentally as you'd like to see. So that's something that's a kind of weakness that Tyson Fury does have, which sometimes people who are nowhere near his level in terms of ability, he gives them more of a chance really than they should have, just from his. I don't know, he's the kind of person sometimes like he's very erratic. He can put on a very disciplined performance and just completely clinically outbox someone, like he did against Klitschko, like he did against Derek Chisora, like he did against Kevin Johnson, etc., etc. Or you can have the one when he just sort of turns up and bit mad, just gets really stuck in, gets carried away. So potentially that could happen in this fight, and if that does happen, then Manuel Charr would have more of a chance than he should have, and that is one concern that you could have going into this fight, because that potential banana skin. But I just think that Tyson Fury has the talent, the ability, the experience. He just knows his way around the ring too well, too savvy, too technically good. And Manuel Charr just can't see him doing much unless Tyson Fury literally turns up in the state that he's in now, which would never happen. I can't see Peter Fury allowing that to happen. So, who knows when this is going to happen. Apparently it could happen in Germany, which I think that'd be quite good, to be honest with you. Now, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if the German boxing board of control, I don't know what kind of relationship they have with the British boxing board of control, whether they would grant him a license to fight in Germany. Not really sure the ins and outs of how that would work. But Tyson Fury is quite popular in Germany, from what I can see. Now, he went out there before to fight, obviously, Klitschko. He was out there for a few days. He's a bit of a man of the people, Tyson Fury. He's out there talking to people, having a laugh. Most young people in Germany speak very good English. Now, the older people, not so much, but people who are, I don't know, I'd say like my age downwards, speak very good English. And they have, in my opinion, a lot better sense of humour than we give them credit for in England. So I think he went down quite well out there. He was like singing, like to Klitschko, just a real character, Tyson Fury. And when he meets people, he's very, very personable. And I think that he got on quite well with the German people, who are quite good fans. Now, I've been out there for football before. There are in some ways they're quite similar to the English. So I think they respected Tyson Fury. He commented on how well they treated him out there, very hospitable. So I think it's quite good for him, because obviously in England he's well loved by a lot of people, but he's also very hated by a lot of people. So I think this will be good for him going to Germany, a place where people will appreciate him. He won't have as much pressure in terms of like the media and stuff like that, people wanting to have a go at him. So I think this would be ideal, really, if he got his first fight back out there in Germany. So if this happens, yeah, I'll be very happy, and I'd expect Tyson Fury to beat Manuel Charr quite easily. But possibly, if he does, let his guard down, could be a couple of hairy moments in there. In terms of what happens after that, can Tyson Fury then come back and regain his place that he had? It's difficult to really say at the moment because we haven't seen him back. In terms of talent and ability, I would say 100%. I think, personally, Tyson Fury is the most gifted and the most talented, skillful heavyweight in boxing. I like Luis Ortiz as well. I think he's very skillful, but I don't think he's as versatile as Tyson Fury. And the fact that Tyson Fury is just so much bigger than him as well, and he's sort of quicker on his feet, I think gives him that edge. You have people, obviously, Anthony Joshua, he's skillful. He's not, in my humble opinion, anywhere near the level of skill of Tyson Fury, or not as versatile, but physically, he's so impressive. and he's very good at what he does, that he's going to be a very, very formidable opponent for anyone. Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, is overrated by a lot of people, but also underrated by a lot of people. Now, people are going to say that he hasn't fought anyone. I know that, it's true. But he's a very, very dangerous man to go 12 rounds with. I mean, only one person's managed it. We can say that people weren't very good he fought against. That's true, but he's still knocking them out. And a couple of these knockouts that he's doing are quite impressive. And I'm not just talking about the sheer force of it. I'm talking about the way he sets it up. Like he's got a better boxing brain than people give him credit for, in my opinion. So I think Deontay Wilder, he looks sloppy at times, and you can probably make him look silly for about 5 or 6 rounds, but then there's always the possibility he's going to knock you out with that right hand. And not just like a lucky punch, he's going to set you up for it quite well, like he did with Spilka, off the top of my head. But he's getting better, in my opinion. He's getting cleverer, more experienced. Saw him fight Gerard Washington, who, problem with Gerard Washington, he didn't really have much fight in him. He didn't have much fighting spirit, and he just kind of, gave up really and didn't really tough it out. That was a problem with him. But in terms of stylistically, he gave Wilder quite a few problems. But you did see Wilder, kind of start to fight more cautiously and show more ring IQ than people have given him credit for in the past. So these are the two, like Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, he's sort of up and coming as well. I know he's a champion, but to me, in his last 2 fights, he's shown good versatility. He's shown that he can come through tough moments. He's shown that he's got a good brain, and he's shown that he can find a way to win, and he can adapt as well. So he's someone that with his next fight against Hughie Fury will be a tough fight for him. But Joseph Parker, Tyson's obviously not going to fight Hughie. But Joseph Parker as well, he's someone who's progressing quite nicely. I'd personally put him behind Joshua and Wilder at the moment, but he's definitely got the potential to get up there as well. So can Ortiz, obviously, I think stylistically Tyson Fury would beat Luis Ortiz quite easily. I don't see him as much of a threat to Fury. I think he's too small. I think Fury could just outbox him quite easily from range. And Tyson Fury is obviously very good on the inside as well. So if the fight did get into that territory, I think he could more than hold his own. And I think he could just fight his own fight. And it would be very difficult for Luis Ortiz to overcome that, in my opinion. So yeah, stylistically, I think out of the top 5, I think that would probably be the easiest one for him. Deontay Wilder, I think Tyson Fury could quite easily just outbox him. He can, obviously, we saw Wilder against Gerard Washington. He didn't look very comfortable against someone his own size, someone in shape, someone who, Gerard Washington doesn't have like anywhere near the skill of Fury, but he's got some kind of skill, and he did give Deontay Wilder problems, but he also got knocked out. So, we've got to bear that in mind when we talk about him, exposing Wilder. Do you know what I mean? So I think the Fury could quite possibly outbox Deontay Wilder, knock him out as well, because Wilder could get a bit frustrated and try and get carried away, leave himself open. That could happen. But going 12 rounds with with Deontay Wilder is no easy task. So whoever you are, that's going to be a very risky fight. And I would definitely pick Tyson Fury to beat Deontay Wilder, but it would be very dangerous, and there's definitely a good chance that he could get knocked out. Anthony Joshua, I think he's better than Deontay Wilder, but I think stylistically he'd be easier for Fury to deal with. I think Wilder's got very good reach as well, very fast hands, and they're kind of quite. They're coming. These punches, they're quite. People say he's predictable with that long right hand. True, he could take that out of it, but he's also unorthodox. You don't really know what he's going to do, and he can come at you from quite strange angles. And he can start throwing like wild haymakers and cricket ball style punches. Yeah, they might not look pretty, but they can be quite difficult to avoid as well if you don't really know what's going on with him. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Anthony Joshua, he's a bit more textbook, he's a bit more refined. And I think someone like Tyson Fury, with the boxing skill that he has and the defence that he can have if he chooses to implement it, would find it easier to protect himself from Anthony Joshua. So I think that he would, in terms of skill and talent, I'd pick him to beat Anthony Joshua. The problem is, Anthony Joshua is one of the most dedicated boxers in the world. I mean, he lives the life, total discipline. Um, he's training all. He's not every. Obviously, he has like rest, but he's training all the time. He's always improving. He's always looking after himself physically. He's not going out eating what he wants to eat, drinking a load of alcohol, going to bed when he feels like it. I think the longer this goes on, the more that is in the favour of Anthony Joshua. So, I mean, he's very talented as well. I mean, I personally think that Tyson Fury, I don't believe in like pound for pound, like lists as if they're factual, but in terms of pure skills for what you can do, for someone the size of Tyson Fury to be able to move the way he can, like he moves like someone about half his size, and he can switch southpaw, he can fight on the inside, outside. To me, he reminds me, he's like Terence Crawford. He's like a sort of heavyweight version of Terence Crawford, and they both have the same big pair of bollocks and fighting spirit as well. So they're very similar to me. I don't think there are many heavyweights like that. So when I say the Fury is more skillful than Anthony Joshua, it's not really a knock on Joshua. I just think this Fury is special in that respect. But this is heavyweights, so you can be more skillful than you can do all that. But at the end of the day, if you have to go 12 rounds with Anthony Joshua trying to punch you, I mean, good luck with that. Do you know what I mean? It's not easy. So I don't by any means think that Tyson Fury can just come back and just sort of school everyone like Mayweather style, like he's fighting people, who weigh like 150 pounds and just basically, take a few punches from him here and there. It doesn't really matter. I don't see him basically being able to do that 100% with people like Wilder, Joshua, Ortiz, Parker. I think he can beat them all, and I think, depending on how he looks, I would say he's the Klitschko. Obviously, if you've got the number one potentially, but this is a very dangerous game at heavyweight. So could he go unbeaten against all of them? Well, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what he looks like when he comes back, but I don't know. I do think, I mean, everyone says it, this isn't like some new theory I'm coming out with, but his lifestyle, if you compare it to people like Joshua, Klitschko's obviously like 40 now, and he's already beaten Klitschko, but Joshua, Wilder, Parker, these people really take it seriously. So if you're going to compete with people like that, you can't just, be half-assed about it, part-time training, in and out of shape. If Fury can come back and he can really dedicate himself, and if he really wants to do it, then there's no reason why he can't be the number one in the world, in my opinion. But he's got to want to do that, and he's got to dedicate himself to it, and that's what, obviously, we're going to have to wait and see. So yeah, if this does happen with Manuel Charr, I think it's a good opponent for him to come back to, and I like the fact that it'd be in Germany. So I'll be interested to see what happens, if they can do it, and when it will be, and how he looks. But yeah, that's I just wanted to say that. Really, that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much for watching.